Hello and welcome to another episode of the Top of Off Cricket Podcast. I am your host, Kevin Henry. And as usual, we are talking everything West Indies cricket. Now, on Tuesday morning, West Indies wrapped up the first test of the two-match series with a victory, as was expected. If anyone went into that match not expecting West Indies to win, something is wrong. If the West Indian players didn't expect to win, and by such a handsome margin, something was wrong. Now, with that being said, there's a couple of things that we've got to talk about, especially when it comes to our batsmen and that killer instinct, that thing that you need, especially when you come up against teams that are not going to give you the chances like a Bangladesh would give you. And when I look at the World Test Championship table, and I see teams like Australia, I see teams like India, I see teams like New Zealand, South Africa, England. Those teams do not give you those half chances. They take those half chances. And Alec Athanaze, Mikhail Louis, Kavem Hodge, Justin Graves, Craig Brathwaite, Joshua Da Silva, they've got to understand you need to be locked in. And when you come up against teams like Bangladesh, this is where you practice. You work on your killer instinct. Louis showed that he's capable of batting for long periods. There was evidence of that in England. There was evidence of that against South Africa, right? And when you came up against a team like Bangladesh, where the opportunity was presented to you to score a really, really big 100, you had to take it. I know people would be like, oh, but when you look at the bigger picture, West Indies won the match, this, that, and third. I am not worried about Bangladesh. I'm worried about when we come up against a team like Pakistan in really tough conditions in a matter of weeks. I'm worried about when we take on the South Africas and the Australias and the Indias and the Englands in the next test cycle. This is where you practice your craft. When you catch a team like Bangladesh, who's ripe for the picking, you've got to take that opportunity. This was an opportunity for him to carry his bat throughout the innings. I'm not going to go easy on Louis. I'm not going to go easy on Athanaze. This was an opportunity for Athanaze to put a really, really big one on the scoreboard. This was an opportunity for him to pad his stats. This is what this was about. Improve that test average. So when you look at it, you go, all right, I'm averaging 30 now. Pakistan coming up are looking to put something on their head too. No, you don't give it away. And at the moment where they got out, that was a critical moment in this match. Had Justin Graves and Kemar Roach not stood up, we would have been having a different conversation. Do not leave it to someone else. Do not leave the job to someone else. And that is something that Louis and Athanaze have got to understand as young cricketers. It's your burden to carry. You are the next generation of West Indian cricketers, West Indian batters. Carry the mantle. All right, enough said about that and the batting, the lack of preparation. That's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Cricket West Indies cannot be satisfied. And I think this was disrespectful to the West Indian public. To not prepare a team, even though we are not in contention for the World Test Championship, and send them out there to play. A 2-day scrubby, as I would like to call it, against this Bangladeshi team, that is not preparation. Where one of your most important batsmen and the skipper of the team hasn't lifted a bat in anger since the last test match against South Africa back in August. That's almost 4 months of no type of cricket. I don't care what kind of cricket, if he was playing and practicing in Barbados. That does not prepare you for international test cricket. It doesn't. Cricket West Indies, fix it. Going forward, fix it. our bowlers. I thought it was a really patient performance. I didn't see it as spectacular because it wasn't that. It was a really patient performance by the bowlers. There are periods in that match where they were made to work and they showed the necessary patience. And that is what is required from West Indian bowlers going forward. Because when you're going to come up against the Australians, the Indians, the New Zealands, the South Africas, the Pakistans, they're going to ask you to hit your areas more often than not. And you're going to have to be prepared to do that. You're going to have to be prepared to bowl your best ball repeatedly and not get off of that line and length. So I thought that was really good practice, especially when you go to Pakistan and the pitches are not going to be of any help to you. And it's going to ask you to hit them spots a whole lot more. Test those batsmen technique by hitting those spots a whole lot more. So that was good practice. Now the second test begins tomorrow. Here's a chance for West Indies to win this match and go further up in the standings. This is a chance. This is what this chance presents. It can also be a launch pad for when you go to Pakistan and win, because you're going there on the back of confidence. You go to Pakistan with some confidence. You've just beaten Bangladesh, who recently beat Pakistan in Pakistan. So it is not something that cannot be achieved. The team that you're beating right now beat the team that you're going to take on in just a matter of weeks. So this would be really, really, really great practice. You have two decent spinners on the Bangladesh team. This is where you get that practice in. Yes, the pitches in Pakistan are going to be tailor-made for the Pakistani spinners. Here's where you're going to have to practice your patience. Atenes, Louis, Graves, Hodge. This is where you're going to have to practice your patience, because it's going to require a lot of that when you are in Pakistan. Because those spinners, as we saw against England, they hit their spots and they hit them regularly. So make good use of this, because this actually is what cricket, what the West Indies team need right now. The practice, because they haven't had any since South Africa. They haven't played any test matches. Some players have played a bevy of first-class one-day matches, list-day matches, but that still doesn't prepare you like you would in an actual red ball game. So I expect West Indies to name the same team tomorrow. I expect an improved performance, especially from the batsmen, from the top order. I expect an improved performance. I'm hoping to see Louis capitalize on the innings that he had at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. I'm hoping to see Alec Atenes do the same thing. I'm not too worried about our bowlers, because they're gonna do their job. West Indies bowling is strong. I am more worried about our batting. So, unchanged 11. I'm expecting to see improved performances. That's what I'm expecting tomorrow. So, I am your host, Kevin Henry, for the Top of All Cricket Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's talk about it down in the comments. Let's rap down in the comments. And I will see you next time.